today. So just be aware this is a public meeting of the High Point EDC. So while we are broadcasting, there will be people able to join and view our meeting. So we do have a closed session towards the end of our meeting that we're able to discuss things still confidentially at the stage that they're in. So, but at this point in time, our meeting is public. So please, everyone, be aware of that. And with that, I will turn it over to Madam Chair, Ms. Beth Ernst.
Just muted.
Is this still here? Did I lose her?
Muted.
Yes.
I had a great intro and I was muted. I apologize. So greetings, everybody. Happy February 1st. We'll try again. This is the first meeting of the year for the EDC Board of Directors. Thank you for being here. So with that, I welcome you. We have a tight agenda, and Sandy and I are committed to doing this in an hour because we all know that you have something else planned at the top of 5 o'clock. So with that, I say welcome to you, and then we move on to the minutes review. So you should have received the November 2022 EDC minutes from when we were together, and you can see them on the screen. Sandy's sharing those now. Is there any discussion about the minutes, or may I have a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, if I may, I will say that Dr. Clark read the minutes fully and did send me an edit, which was very kind of him. I told him it was a test, but it really was not. So I did appreciate the correction. So thank you, Dr. Clark, for diligently reading. But anyway, thank y'all all for considering those.
So is that an edit that you're showing here, or an edit we got in our email?
Corrected. Yes, it has been corrected
Okay.
as of late yesterday.
So then any other additions after you've read it? Those of you on the board? Motion made to approve. I see that from Mr. Hull. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Holbrook, thank you so much. All in favor? I think we have to do the thumbs up or the wave as board members so that Penny can count us. Thank you. Penny, you got it?
We're good.
We're good. It passes. With that, I'll turn it over to Sandy.
All right. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. And I'm going to be as kind of succinct with my report as I can, because we do have this full agenda. So I did want to maybe first recognize our guests that are with us, maybe before I jump in to some of our media news. We do have a number of guests today, so that was wonderful that people wanted to join. From NAACP, the new president, we have with us Elma Hairston and her colleague Constance Reynolds, also with us, very interested in working with High Point EDC. And understanding all of the wonderful opportunities to engage with a population and employers really throughout Guilford County and the region. So many great things going on. So welcome, Elma and Constance. We're glad to have you guys with us. We also have, and I hope I say this right, Aisha Hall. She is with Leadership High Point and is joining our meeting today. And then we have Chris Bryan, business rep with Truist Bank. So thank you for joining, Chris. Also, we have with us Kayla Scarpolini. I hope I said that right, Kayla. She is serving as an intern with Mayor Wagner, and is a political science major, I believe. And I have seen her at several meetings now, so appreciate her interest in everything that is going on in our city. And then also a couple of guests that are our speakers, and that would be Fred Henry from Guilford Works and Rebecca Complin with Keep High Point Beautiful. Again, I'll move back unless I missed. Did I miss any other guests that are on the call? Okay, good. Just to talk about some of these articles that I wanted you guys to be aware of, and we will send this packet out tomorrow so that you can have it in case you want to refer to it later. But we have this great recognition by Business Facilities that North Carolina was recognized as the State of the Year. An excellent ranking that our clients do pay attention to, so we are most appreciative of that. A little bit of feedback here, so yep, you might have to mute. Yeah, there we go. But certainly great projects in 22 that led us to receive this great recognition. So Sarah, I think you can tab on for me. Okay. Yes, thank you. So another announcement that came in late December. Again, we did not meet in December or January. Lowe's companies expanded their footprint here up in North High Point on Peg Road, creating 85 new positions there. This was a brand new building that was constructed by a group called Scannell. From outside of the market, and about the time that the Amazon projects announced, they had purchased land and started this construction, a couple of buildings. Since then, they have sold that, and another local group, Beacon Partners, out of Charlotte, picked up on that space. So they are almost fully tenantized, and that's been a wise investment for them. So certainly we are appreciative of that. There's another company down at the bottom that was Bakemark. They supply ingredients to bakeries. So again, another great company continuing to grow our food industry. This is a wonderful and exciting announcement. You may have seen this. It was covered in the High Point Enterprise and had been a subject of many conversations. The city of High Point did buy the former 300 Oak building, which was an industrial building for many, many years. And many on this call have connections to that building, including the mayor. But it was the property is 300 Oak. It's about 64,000 square feet. It doesn't look like an old mill building from this picture, but underneath that stucco finish is a mill building. And when you walk in those front doors, we've had our board meeting there before. It's gorgeous. Mill showroom space inside. The wood floors just gleam. It's fairly well upfit on about that top floor, which is about 30,000 square feet, and then a little bit more older looking mill space on the downstairs. And this was bought with ARPA funds, the Rescue Act funds, and the city of High Point did authorize that. And will enable really many opportunities in the Southwest for individuals to potentially work there and have access to smaller spaces. As we shine the light on certain areas of High Point, we see a lot of outside investment, which is wonderful, and we love that, but we also want to have some spaces, some maker types of spaces that other individuals can use. As a part of that, the other great news is that we were able to secure money with the help of Representative Kathy Manning. And you will see here, there were two parts to this. We've been working through kind of small scale and with the mayor's help and the city manager and deputy city manager that participated in the Harvard program. we have advanced the commercial shared use kitchen project, which is proposed to have a kitchen in the southwest part of High Point for individuals that are interested in food processing businesses or food trucks, all of those types of businesses. And Representative Manning secured $2 million for that effort, which is greatly appreciated. And then on the next page, it shows that we were awarded $4 million. So as we were working to secure 300 Oak, we were also asking for some assistance to help upfit that building. So the building is owned now, and there is $4 million to help with that upfit. We believe it will still take more than that. We had applied for another grant that we did not receive, but we're hopeful that we'll be able to secure additional funding to help get that building renovated and ultimately ready to go to help our community. So Future Foam, just a little bit about them. You may recall during COVID, the shortage of foam that hit the industry. Future Foam here in High Point had been working on an expansion, and they have now started that expansion in High Point. They are also growing in Randolph County, down in Archdale. So anyway, it's great to see that project moving forward as part of the home furnishing industry. And then our own Smith Leonard, growing as well, acquired a hickory farm. It was lovely to see that. They now have more than 100 employees. So Ken Smith is here with us, as well as Darlene. So we're very excited to see those folks and that organization, Smith Leonard, continue to grow. We appreciate it. And then this is just an article about sites out near the Ralph Lauren that is in High Point, but is in Forsyth County. As many of you know, we're in 4 counties. So this facility is in Forsyth, but is in High Point, and developer Robin Team that has done a multitude of projects in the region, but known for Premier Center in North High Point, and then this acreage that houses Ralph Lauren out off of 74 and 66. They have acquired additional land, and we're working on rezoning, and we'll be able to house additional industrial projects there. This is an article about Boom. And again, I'm going to try and be short, so I won't go into too much detail, but wonderful project, the supersonic jet, and a lot about the work that went on getting us ready. And we always say in economic, it takes a long time to be an overnight success. So it's all that prep work that gets you ready to succeed. And so thankful that they have done that at the airport and the people in High Point as well. There will be a workforce summit out at Grandover, the Eastern Triad Group. So certainly individuals are invited to attend. It's a public-private partnership. So certainly if you have interest, we're glad to help connect you, but this was a mention of that was written up in the Rhino. Our library, we continue as a city to work on services for autistic patrons, and the library has gotten some certification, and we'll be offering a sensory story time. So I thought that was interesting as well. I know our partners at Visit High Point have worked so hard to have us be a community that is certified and welcomes all patrons. And of course, John Faircloth, glad to see him reappointed to his role on House Appropriations. He certainly, has always had High Point in his heart, and as he works to represent our area and help the whole state. And then I won't talk about this because Dr. Clark is going to, but this is a great announcement as well that Dr. Clark will share more about. And let's see, Sarah, was there anything else there? No, I did have one other thing that I wanted to mention, then I'm going to turn it over to Fred Henry. There was an article in the Enterprise paper this morning that I did not get included, and actually Bill McClin was asking me about it. And this was information about Ridvan Tatargil and his family investing in the Southwest. So they have bought one of the Hayworth Roll and Panel facilities that we called it the Wood Kiln Building. If you remember, there were lots of pallets stacked out front. They have acquired that building as well as the building next to that. They're the owners of Pandora's Manor in the Southwest, as well as a lot across the street from the Wood Kiln Building. But so, with the city's investment, we're seeing other investors. Our Hot Shots project went down there last year. So we're just seeing other people seeing that area of interest. And we see that as really a industrial corridor, smaller scale kind of maker. So it's beginning its continued transition and redevelopment. So I'll be quiet with that. I think that's a lot of information, but everyone has wonderful things to share. So with that, I did want to ask Fred Henry and Dr. Harrison and Dr. Clark to talk with us about Toyota. I want all the folks in High Point to know about these wonderful opportunities that Brent Christensen and his team did, along with Randolph County, to help to secure, this fabulous battery project down in Randolph County that has infrastructure provided by Greensboro and funding by Guilford County. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Fred.
Thanks, Sandy. Just to kind of give everybody a brief update on the engagement that's taken place with GiftWorks and Toyo over the past year. And if I can get the next slide, just going to go through a quick timeline and I'm going to pass the baton to the next speaker. But currently, we've been engaged with Toyota since February 9th of last year. We had the opportunity to meet with Don Stewart, who's the Vice President of Manufacturing with Toyota, and also 3 other officials from Toyota from Japan. Don provided us an overview of Toyota and what they're looking to do as far as being a community partner with Guilford County and in this whole region, the Tri-area. So he really provided an in-depth interview with a discussion with that, but also they talked about some of the training things that they've been doing in some of their local areas. Even mentioned the FAME program. So he shared that information, and also we provided him an overview of not only but we also had the existing director from the regional partnership to provide an overview of how the workforce system can support Toyota in their recruitment efforts and training. But in June, we also met with 2 additional Toyota officials. Again, high-level discussion. These 2 individuals really talked about some of the things that they're doing as far as the startups and how they work with workforce boards, and also just provided what type of interaction that we'll be able to expect with them, but also some of their hiring officials over this timeline. In August of 2020, August 8th, that they hired a local official for the HR team, Tim Stanton. He used to be a former HR manager with Cal Chemicals in High Point, and also most recently Market America. But Tim came in and shared with our team some of the timelines that Toyota's as far as looking to hire when we look at the facility maintenance technician leads and also the facility maintenance technicians. They were initially looking to start hiring that process back in September and also through the December of this calendar year. And then the bulk of the hires, which they look at as their production positions, so what they call team member positions, would start the first quarter of 2023. There's an assessment process with the facility maintenance technicians, and it's an online assessment that should be approximately about 11 questions. But what we're going to do is we provided them some space in the Greensboro NC Work Center so they can conduct those surveys and those assessments while their building is being renovated, which is going to be located right behind us at the Greensboro Meadowview Center, which used to be formerly the LabCorp building. So they're currently subleasing that building, and they're currently renovating it. So it's going to be a temporary assessment center and training center that they're renovating the first 2 floors. In November 21, Tim also provided us a new update. So as you go through this timeline, you're going to see the major differences. The timelines are changing. The bulk hires will start initially. The first quarter 23 was pushed back into the second quarter 23. Again, when we look at the bulk hires, they're talking about bringing individuals in cohorts of 300 to 500 individuals. But again, that's changed. So most recently, we met with them this past Thursday at the High Points at the Greensboro Center. And we also met with Tallagy, who's their assessment organization who creates their assessments, and some of the leadership with Kelly that's going to be in cohorts with us as far as hiring and supporting them with those hiring needs. So just the most recent on where things are right now. The bulk of the hire is going to start this September, October, this 2023, this fall. They're going to start filling the facility maintenance technicians during the spring and summer. This week right here, we're looking for authorization from their corporate office to go ahead and start recruiting for the leadership as far as the technicians, supervisors. And these supervisors, once they are hired by the first week of March, they would take 2 months to go to Japan and do training. Once they get back from the training in the late spring, summertime, they're going to hire those technician positions for maintenance positions. We're working with them currently as far as creating an assessment schedule. The bulk of the hires are initially going to start between Greensboro and also the Asheboro NC Centers. And then prior to this fall, they're going to open it up to other locations. We share with them also the High Point facility and also the Gifford Tech location of High Point. So they are open to doing some of those things probably toward the September timeframe. That's where things are right now. Again, probably the biggest consistency is the timelines keep moving. We are working with them. They are diligent with their processes, but we look forward to updating this group as we get more information. Thanks, Sandy.
Absolutely. And you guys may have questions as well, but I'll ask one question just because I thought it was so interesting. Fred, as people are interested in maybe going to work for Toyota, or if anybody in this group has colleagues or friends that have interest, where should they start? Again, I know you and I talked about the fact that we have Kelly here in High Point, and of course we do have the facility, but what would be your recommendation for people to really start if they're just starting to think about their interests for Toyota?
Yeah, so the first place I would start their website, depending on the position that they're looking to fill. They have other positions that may not be related to some of the incentives as far as the leadership position. We were able to assist them in some HR positions from within our system, but I will start there, but also start the NC Work Center. So we do have some job orders that we'll post at NC Works online. Okay. And they did mention to us that once they open up the assessment process, it's going to be mobile. So folks can go and access that mobile assessment from their telephone, but it's a 3-step process. So there's going to be an online assessment. If they move past the online assessment, they'll go to a hands-on assessment. Okay. And if they clear that hands-on assessment, they're called in for an interview. But again, they're going to open it up. Initially, they want to start this process because they wanted to be near the testing centers at the Randolph Community College, but also the assessment center they're going to have behind the NC Work Career Center in Greensboro. And then this fall, they're going to open it up to some other locations. And we talked about High Point.
Great. And that Toyota website, is at toyotabattery.com? Do you know?
Yes, but I could get that for you. And
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you can put that in the chat for us.
Sure.
Fred, that would be great. All right. Well, with that, other questions from the group for Fred?
Just want to congratulate Dr. Clark also. It was a great announcement yesterday, and we had the opportunity to at least host an interest meeting back in September as they was looking for someone to take charge with this program, and GTCC did.
Awesome. I know y'all are helping lead the way for us all, and we appreciate you so much. So thank you for that update, Fred. We truly appreciate it. If there aren't other questions, we'll turn it over now.
Sandy, excuse the interruption, but it does look like Councilman Moore has his hand raised, so we could maybe turn the floor over.
see that. Thank you, Sarah, for mentioning that. Councilman Moore, did you have a question?
Yes, to follow up with Fred once more on the order of interview process he shared and mentioned Randolph County and then Greensboro and then High Point. Will that go by geographic address? I mean, if there's somebody that lives in High Point, are they kind of excluded at this point from the interview process that may begin out of the Randolph facility or the Greensboro facility?
No, they're not excluded. So anyone can take the assessment, the application. I think the key thing right now, until they finish setting up assessment centers throughout the area, right now the assessment centers are at the High Point, the Greensboro location, which is behind the NC Work Career Center off Meadowview, and then the Randolph Community College. But they are creating assessment centers throughout the area. So individuals can apply now. They just have to be willing to go to one of the other locations. As we meet with them and they open up and set up additional assessment centers, we're going to deploy our mobile unit across the county for folks to have access to computers. They may need access to computers within our unit, but also just to make sure that we're having a touch point throughout the community, including High Point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Thank you all. We appreciate that. All right. Well, we are going to turn it over to Dr. Tony Clark, president of GTCC. So.
Okay. I definitely, where are we now?
Like
I was keeping High Point beautiful there for a second.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, there you go. All right. You just go to the next slide, please. All right. So some of this, hearing Fred update us, some of it's in line with what I've been hearing too. I always tell people when I update you on Toyota, I know about this much about what Toyota's doing. They're doing all kinds of stuff all around the state and the triad. And as I tell my people here, we work with them and they're going to do what they do. So I think the idea was, I think some people thought they would come in and we would help them develop training and things like that. They know exactly what they want, and we're just trying to meet their needs. So as far as the hiring assessment, Fred sort of already covered this. There is an assessment center at Randolph Community College. I put other locations. So obviously one is at Guilford Works, and there'll be other ones coming. GTCC is probably not going to be a site because of the closeness of Guilford Works, but we're always willing to help if needed. But I think Toyota's got the plan, and that's fine. The FAME announcement that happened yesterday was very exciting. I would call it a milestone for GTCC and really going to have ramifications for the college for years to come. FAME is the Federation of Advanced Manufacturing Education. The program is the Advanced Manufacturing Technology Program. That is a 2-year program. So FAME is very similar to GAP, if you will. All right, it's a chapter of a national organization. It started when Toyota would go into a state like Kentucky. They'd build their plant. They wanted to build the workforce. They would start hiring, and then they started to partner with other companies to create an apprenticeship program. That's how FAME came to be. Now it is a separate organization. So even though Toyota is the largest employer within FAME, FAME is a separate organization. There are 4 or 5 other companies involved with Toyota in FAME. And Jowatt Corporation, Master Brand, Zila Big, and I'm forgetting one of them. So FAME, once again, separate from Toyota, but Toyota is a key part of that. We'll also talk about general production technician training, which is separate from FAME. And once again, they're doing all kinds of things in the high schools, trying to get to other organizations to recruit. So there's all kinds of things going on that I am vaguely familiar with, but you might see them doing things. And they, like I said, they're going to reach throughout the triad to try to get employers or employees. And so that's what they do. All right, you can go to the next slide. To give you an idea here, okay, so this was just something that one of the Toyota guys said one time. He said, let's say you had 5,000 employees at Toyota. All right, 6% or 300 would be FAME or AMT, Advanced Manufacturing Technicians. All right, so the FAME program is really a small slice of their hiring. All right, but it's an important slice, And obviously, we were very honored and happy to be selected to be the provider of their manufacturing technicians. But if you look at that 80%, that's 4,000 people. That's what they're working with Guilford Works and all the assessment centers on, is getting those production technicians, those production associates. So that's where all the partnership with the community colleges, working together. We've had several meetings with Randolph and Alamance about how we can partner together to provide the training for these individuals. Of course, as Fred has described, the assessments are getting set up throughout the triad. So all that's going on, but I just wanted to sort of place FAME for you as a small but highly selected piece of that workforce. If you go to the next slide. So FAME, once again, it's the FAME North Carolina First in Flight chapter. I normally don't put pictures of me on the slide, but since the governor was in the picture too, I put there. And then there's also Sean Suggs is the he's the president of Toyota Battery Manufacturing North Carolina. And this was at the event yesterday. So FAME's a national organization, highly selective. So what they want to do is they want to have someone who maybe is going to UNC Chapel Hill or North Carolina State say, hey, instead of going to the university, I'm going to go to the FAME program. That's the kind of student they're looking for. We've been selected as a community college. It's a 2-year program, so we'll start this fall. We'll graduate our first graduates then in 2025. In the meantime, they're doing a shorter pre-FAME program where some of our students in technical programs, they'll talk to, and maybe if they change their coursework a little bit or something like that, they'll be able to hire as a FAME AMT technician, even though they don't go through the total program. There are specific equipment and facility requirements. There's 11,500 square feet in the Center for Advanced Manufacturing, which is off of Gate City Boulevard. And we are going to renovate that. We have state money, about $2 million we're going to dedicate to renovate that space for the FAME program. We're looking at starting a cohort of 27 AMT students in the fall. As I tell people, we just need the curriculum, the instructor, the equipment, the facility, and we should be good to go. So, and the students. So we're working very hard on that.
Just a few things.
Yeah, just a few things. General production technician, once again, this is the bulk of the workforce. This is the hiring assessment that Fred's been talking about. Interesting thing, there's no specific training to take the assessment. If you can walk in off the street, pass the assessment, you'll get hired. But they have mentioned our mechatronics certificate that we offer at the college as good preparation. There's also a certified production technician certification that can be offered in high schools, can be offered in workforce credential, can be offered through our curriculum programs. We do have a mechatronics lab at the Greensboro campus that we're expanding to go ahead and address this need. That's what we're doing right now. So we're very happy to be selected as the FAME partner. A lot of work to be done. And like I said, but that's just a small piece of what needs to be done. The other piece, as Fred mentioned, is the assessment and the training of all those, if you will, the 80% of the workforce. And that's where the partnership with the other community colleges is extremely important. So there you have it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's wonderful, Dr. Clark. Thank you so much. It is truly amazing. And I think about all the hard work that people have done for years to get us to this point, and all the hard work yet to come, but such rewarding work. So we truly are appreciative of everyone that has played a part in this. So anyway, I'll turn it over to the floor, though, for other questions for Dr. Clark.
I have a question, Sandy, if that's okay, Elma Hairston. This may be a question for the last speaker, but I saw where there was an annual salary of $30,000 a year. Are all of these jobs entry-level jobs? Are they bringing their own management teams in? Or what's the story on $30,000 a year jobs? That doesn't seem very competitive to me from the standpoint of looking at the national average as far as what salaries are. I know that North Carolina falls a bit below that because I've talked with Senator Garrett about that. But talk to me about the salary ranges and the types of positions that are going to be available.
Well, I'll go first. I will tell you, for the FAME technicians, the salary is more like $60,000. All right, and they will hire people. Once again, they just want you to have the skill set. So obviously the FAME technicians that we're preparing are entry level, but they're still making close to $60,000. And then it's up from there as far as once you get to the Toyota and start, getting promotions and things like that. So they'll hire, right now they'll hire anyone who's qualified to do it. They're not just looking at entry level. And once again, the FAME technicians get compensation a little bit higher than the certified production technician. So we've been using the number of 60,000 a year.
Okay, well, the reason I asked that there is a bit of a differential when I first saw 30,000 on the other slide, and you're saying 60,000 now.
For the technicians versus possibly some of the other entry level positions. And I will say, Emma, sometimes when we work with these ED projects, the wages that companies ultimately talk about, they'll start their hiring process, and those wages, continue to evolve as people get on. But we'll be happy to continue that conversation with you in addition to in this meeting if you'd like more information in regard to that. But they're going to be a great employer, an employer of choice when you look at total packages, benefits, retirements, et cetera. So certainly these opportunities are ones that I think people will be interested in. So,
I read that. If I can jump, when I read that slide, the hiring process at a 30,000 level, I thought they meant like you went through at a 30,000 level as opposed to a deep level. I don't think it was the salary level.
I think you're right. They are going to mark what they're referring to. 30,000 foot, high.
Yeah.
That's what
as opposed to the salary.
To.
Yeah, it was just at a high level. It wasn't the number. It's a 30,000 foot level from the sky. They didn't get into the ground details.
Doesn't have a dollar sign on it.
There you go. Okay. Well, very good. That help?
Kudos to GTCC for going in there and dogfighting, not to elbow the other community colleges out of the way, but thank you for elbowing the other community colleges. I'm teasing.
Yeah.
We did it very nicely.
So my question is, do you
good.
have the 27 students to start?
We have, I think we have 8 that have applied. And
Okay.
so hopefully with the announcement yesterday, I've been told that we've been getting calls today about the opportunity. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we'll be able to fill all those slots. And I should mention, those slots are what the companies asked for. So they said, we need this person, we need this many people. So it's employer driven.
Yeah, that's great. Bravo.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Unless there are any other questions about Toyota, we will move on. All right. I am going to ask Ms. Rebecca Coughlin, a City of High Point employee that works with the organization Keep High Point Beautiful. Again, love these meetings to be informative and share, but also inspirational and help us all to continue to improve. So wanted Rebecca just to let you know a little bit more about her organization. She's spoken with us in the past. The needs are great though, and so wanted Rebecca to have an opportunity to share what's going on with Keep High Point Beautiful. So Rebecca, I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope everyone can hear me. First, I want to apologize. Sorry, Dr. Clark, I got a little trigger happy there with my presentation. So, but I'm excited to talk about Keep High Point Beautiful. I'm going to go quickly. There are a lot of slides. I promise I'll go quickly. But I wanted to share just briefly that Sandy is on our board for Keep High Point Beautiful. And when we've discussed how Keep High Point Beautiful plays a role in the city, it's how we need to grab more volunteers, get more business and industry involved in keeping our community clean, because this is part of the presentation I actually usually give to anyone who sees a presentation, is that if you were ever going to sell your home, it would look really good. your yard would look good, everything would look good. And so when getting ready to promote a property, sell a property, that would be the same for business. And so we want High Point as a whole to reflect the heart that it has, and that is a beautiful thing. And so our litter does not reflect that. And so I'm just going to go through some of the things that we're doing as a group, but also to just start off immediately by inviting anyone and everyone to join us. I know several folks on this meeting have joined us in the past, and so great to see all of you. So we're also celebrating 35 years of keeping High Point beautiful in our community, and we're very excited about that. Our mission and our purpose, we do operate under the City of High Point and the Public Services Department, and we do like to say that we are here to provide hope, and that reason is because we have folks that say, hey, my community doesn't look like it used to look, and we want to say, that's okay. We're here to help, and we can do this together to get us all looking as good as possible. And we know that takes the whole tribe, the whole team to make that happen.
And Rebecca does take phone calls if something needs special attention. So she's so responsive. And as she mentioned, having an area look good, when we're promoting it to clients or even for our existing businesses, we want your neighborhood to look good. So just recognizing that if something needs a bit of attention, Rebecca is always so helpful.
Thank you, Sandy. And yes, absolutely. Be glad to speak with anyone. And just so you know, we are part of Keep America Beautiful, the national organization, and then the state organization of Keep North Carolina Beautiful. We do have a strategic plan. Of course, I will not read all of this, but you may see down there at the bottom that we want to increase corporate outreach. We do have a youth council with 13 high school students. So also reaching out and putting that message and they're spreading the message to their peers. We find that also to be very important. Of course, they're going to grow up to be in business, we believe, someday. And so their impact is going to continue as ours has. We have planted trees. I just want to share some other things we've done. We've planted trees. We have a garden at Ingleside Compost Facility here in High Point, and we give the vegetables to Growing High Point. We have done some environmental art. We have more environmental art projects coming up. We've recently we actually just did our Flowers Powering Hope event this past Saturday. We've got a couple more coming up where we give flower bulbs out to the community in exchange for canned food items. So just another way to beautify in two different ways. And we're also going to become a bee city very soon. That was just passed. So thank you, Councilman Moore and Mayor Wagner. Litter indexing, just so you know, we do take it very seriously. Sandy has helped with this process. We drive the streets of High Point and we rate them 1 to 4, seeing how littered they are. And then we can then take those ratings, and the ones that are noted to need a lot of attention, we put those on our list so that when we have our cleanup events and or we get volunteers, adopt a street, we can send people out to help and give those areas special attention. Of course, if it's a large tire dump or a large dump, that could require even more attention, and the City of High Point does help with that. Also, to combat illegal dumping, and we have worked with economic development on the use of some of these cameras, and we're getting more cameras, putting them in strategic places where we know illegal dumping is happening. And, just keeping an eye on these areas and then hopefully combating in that way so that if folks know they're being watched, they tend to not dump in that area. We have an Adopt a Street program. We are currently getting ready to start our winter wipeout program. We have 4 events throughout the year that we use to encourage volunteerism and have folks come out and help remove litter. That includes the winter wipeout, the Great American Cleanup in the spring, The summer trash smash, in which we partner with police and fire, that's a little different. We actually collect gift cards from local restaurants and grocery stores. We give the gift cards to police and fire. They in turn hand them out to people they catch doing beautiful things. So again, 2 ways to beautify and encourage positive community participation. And then in the fall, we have our High Point Big Sweep. So that's another litter cleanup event. Education and outreach is huge. We are reaching out to the community at any time we can. We're out at the trunk or treats. We're out at the egg hunts. And we're out at the farmers market. And as today, as I'm speaking to you, anyone who opens their door and lets us come in, we greatly appreciate the time and chance to speak about what we're doing and how folks can be included. These are just really quickly some of our sponsors, donors, partners. You probably certainly will recognize the names on there, and we are so thankful. Most of these are partners that have been helping for years and years. So thankful to all of them for their continued support and ongoing. Okay. And that's all I have to share today. This picture was from our cleanup on Martin Luther King, and those are students and board members and youth council members also from Keep High Point Beautiful. So we're going to continue to be plugging away. And so if anyone has any questions, my contact information is there. You can also find us on the city's website, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that someone may have.
I won't ask a question, Rebecca. I'll just be an advocate for you and say that I've worked for 2 companies in High Point that were partnered with this. We might not have done every single thing that your organization led, but I know we did clean sweeps. We cleaned up Armstrong Park once, and it was a great team building exercise. We met, it was employee volunteerism, and we got to meet spouses of our colleagues and their children, and was amazed at how much garbage and recyclables, picking up trash and sorting recyclables out of it, how much we found in just one city park. And but we felt good at the end of the day. So I'm a huge fan of it. So if you have an opportunity and you have a network or a group that you're volunteering with, please consider contacting Rebecca. And because we live here and we have a lot of people that visit us in the city of High Point. And some of those main thoroughfares, when they come in, need a little bit of attention. So, but yeah, hip, hip, hooray for what Rebecca's doing with the city.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all of you for what you do and keeping our community growing.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And thank you, Chair Ernst, for that testimonial. I do think it's a great opportunity. I always say, we love to talk trash. We want it gone. But we get together and talk about it, and we enjoy each other's company as people are working together and really trying to go at it. And in the neighborhoods too, people are really appreciative. And when they see that we care about their neighborhood, I feel like it inspires folks to care a little bit more about their neighborhood as well. So it's nice to have eyes all over the city to help with this. But thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you being a part of our meeting, Rebecca, so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we'll keep moving, and I'll turn it over now to my colleague, Sarah Stevenson. She's going to talk about a little bit of additional media coverage that the city received that she was heavily involved in. So I'll turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sandy, and good afternoon to everyone. It's wonderful to see you and kick off our 2023 together for economic development. Of course, economic development cannot happen without talent retention and attraction. And so that is a huge focus for our office. And that happens in partnership with our fellow Triad cities, as well as our Carolina Core region. And January was a hot month for the Carolina Cores. So on January the 17th, livability.com published an article about what it's like to live and be in the Carolina core, specifically highlighting the Triad cities. So we were so pleased with this coverage. The article acknowledges where to eat and stay and fun things to do across Greensboro, Winston, and High Point. I'll advance the page here so we can see a little bit about High Point. We had the pleasure of touring the author. Her name's Amanda, all across our downtown and uptown areas. We stopped into the food hall. We went to our award-winning children's museum, stopped in at Congdon Yards to explore the generator, and so much more. And all of that made it into the article. So if you have not read this yet, we definitely encourage you to. It is a wonderful review of our community. And of course, talent, as you consider maybe taking a job somewhere, the first thing you will do is look up that region and want to learn about it. And so livability.com is helping us to just put a really wonderful face out there for our communities. Very grateful to them. And then shortly following that, on January 24th, the Carolina Core, again featuring our 3 Triad cities, was featured on Cafe Mocha TV. Cafe Mocha TV is a TV show that stemmed first from a syndicated radio program. They are now on TV. This launch happened last fall in September. And Cafe Mocha is specifically designed as a program to focus on destination lifestyles to explore multifaceted and multicultural beauty and diversity. So we were really excited to be able to showcase not only what the Carolina Core has to offer from a livability standpoint, but specifically through a lens of diversity, and how wonderful to have this article come out just in time for Black History Month. Of course, it is February the 1st, and the episode certainly takes you through the Woolworth Museum out in Greensboro, and then in High Point, we highlight our annual Black Lux Expo, as well as, of course, the International John Coltrane Festival. The episode altogether is just about 20 minutes, and that's pretty evenly divided between our Triad cities. The link is provided here, and would love for you to take just a moment and see our lens, or see our community through a really wonderful lens. So and of course, these things, they do not happen in a vacuum. So just want to give a special appreciation to our partners, which includes Melody Burnett, president of Visit High Point, as well as Brent Christensen, president from Greensboro Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that. Any questions for Sarah? Everybody good? All right. Well, thank you. So we are 5 minutes from the hour, and have a couple things we still want to do. Those of you that can stay with us. So I will ask that for the partner reports, if any of the partners would like to share information. We've got a list of some of our partners there. There are others on the call as well. But we'll keep moving along rather quickly. But if anybody would like to share any additional updates before we break into closed session. All right, it looks like everybody is ready to keep moving, I think.
Andy?
Yes.
It's Ken. This is not great big news, but it's pretty darn big news. Most of you have seen that, or some of you have, that Tom's Place in High Point's been featured on America's Best Restaurants.
Oh.
And it says that it'll be next month, which was pronounced the other day. I think the 14th is the day that they're going to film from 9 to noon, and interview Chris and talk about it being one of the top restaurants in America. So
that's amazing. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. And we know you've kept them in business, Ken. No, what a great place. So I think everyone certainly has enjoyed an opportunity to have a meal there. They do such a fabulous job. So thank you for sharing that with us, Ken. And if you have a chance to be there on the 14th, I'm sure that'll be exciting as well. And we'll share that once it comes out.
Hey, Ken, I suggest that you and your table be there and just sit there through the whole show so that you're at least in the video. There should be a core group of you, and you know who you are because you're always there when you turn the corner in the restaurant. So that's my suggestion. I'll leave that to your good doing.
It's hard to keep us there that long, but we'll see.
You could struggle through, I bet. Okay, so other partners, anything to share? Mayor, would you like to say anything? Eras from the county?
Sandy, this is Rachel from Business High Point. I wanted to, we're excited to announce we have the factory being activated this month with our third floor corporate meeting spaces that will be open at the end of February. So please, we invite you to come to campus, take a look at the amazing building that is being activated, and then schedule some meetings if you need some space.
Oh, absolutely. We'll look forward to that and appreciate that, Rachel. We appreciate everything that has gone on that you guys have been a part of, and we love bringing people to Congdon Yards and look forward to hosting them at the factory as well. So thank you for that.
Sandy, it's Lindsay from HBU. I just wanted to mention that this weekend when you're out and about, maybe eating at Tom's Place or anywhere around High Point, you might see thousands of guests in town for Family Weekend. So we are very excited on campus to host. This is probably our largest winter Family Weekend registrants. Usually it tends to be a little bit less after the holiday, maybe because parents saw their students right around Christmas, but we have over 5,000 people coming. So if you see people around town, certainly, say hello to them, and we're excited to host them. And we've got a busy semester with a lot of recruitment events. So just rocking and rolling. We're also trying to get our students downtown to go to all these businesses, and we've put forth a couple initiatives to do so with the downtown shuttle that we're going to take students to, and just keep them updated on all the exciting things that everybody on this call is working hard on.
I appreciate that so much, Lindsay. And I know last month HBU hosted an economic development summit, and Chris Chung from EDC was part of that, as well as the CEO for Domino's that Dr. Cobain interviewed, and other banking and CPA experts. It was a fabulous event. And as I am going and leaving from that facility, I say, we used to have to drive to other cities for these types of events. And it is so wonderful to have other people come from other communities to our city and to High Point University. And of course, they are extremely wowed by their experiences there. So it's a wonderful facility and opportunity. And we appreciate everything that Dr. Cobain and the university and yourself, Lindsay, as well as the students. We love the vibrancy of the students. So appreciate that so much, as well as the interns that are out in the community. So thank you, Kayla, for joining us today as well. So others that would like to share.
Sandy, this is Rebecca again. I want to switch hats for just a moment, and we're very excited that a Special Blend coffee shop is going to be opening this summer. I know several of you on the call have had talks and or are being a part of the fact that a Special Blend is coming. And so at first I want to say thank you to so many on this call, but a very exciting opportunity to employ those with cognitive disabilities, and just the support from this community is being very much felt and much appreciated. So thank you, and we're excited.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Rebecca. I think it's a special blend and a special place. So we have found each other. So that's wonderful. Any others that would like to share before we go into closed session? Okay, I think, Madam Chair, we'll take this time then to go into closed session. Brandon, I'll ask that you stop sharing on YouTube. We won't have any business after the closed session to be conducted for our visitors and guests. And we would ask just for the board members and our workforce allies really to stay for the closed session. So